Welcome back, everybody, to Final Fantasy VII, and as you can see, I'm actually not at my PlayStation, my TV. I'm actually now emulating Final Fantasy VII. Now, the reason why, as I'll explain as we go up this rather long set of staircases, so I'll play through the game as I'm explaining to you, because this really doesn't take much thought to go around in circles on the D-pad. So, But yeah, I had to switch over to an emulator on a computer rather than playing it off the TV and my PlayStation hooked up to it because, I was kind of locked into the schedule of my wife because, we kind of sleep in the same room as our TV. And as a result, it's usually I record this on the nights where, we're kind of busy doing things. We got some time. The boys have gone to bed. And, we got a little extra time where I can just spend some moments playing and recording and LPing, right there in the room before we go to sleep. However, of lately, like the last couple months, it's been getting harder and harder to find that free time before we just go to sleep, or she's already asleep and I don't want to wake her up with me playing and stuff. So I was lagging behind by several weeks on this particular play series, so I was like, it's time to move this to a more private venue where I can just record without having to worry about waking her up and stuff like that. Here I am. Gonna probably be emulating the rest of the game. But thankfully I managed to find out a way how to extract my save file from the memory card, and I pick up where I left off. So it's kind of an involved process and not very ideal, but whatever. The fact is that I didn't lose any progress and I didn't have to restart the game, so that's good. So yeah, this particular sequence goes on a little bit too long. In fact, when I first played this game, this was the sequence I encountered first, because I didn't really think you really had a choice. I thought, maybe if you selected, Barney's choice, it would be like, oh no, you can't go that because there's so many soldiers and so many, guards in Shinra that you're going to have to fall back or you're going to get a game over or something. And I was still relatively new to RPGs, even though I've played quite a few of them in Super Nintendo era. But I thought the only way to really sneak into Shinra was to take this route, up the stairs and everything. So I never really considered that there might be a way where you just go full-on attack. Let's go crazy on these guys. But you do get something out of it, and you do get an elixir. So that is one bonus for enduring this rather long stair sequence, which goes on a little bit too long, but at least they try and insert some jokes there. Like this one. Just something to keep it up and keep it interesting for the player to kind of go through all these stairs more and more. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't counted the landings, but I believe if you were to count the landings, there'd probably be 60 landings, which would then put you out near floor 60, which is kind of where this whole staircase spits you out at. Okay, I'm not really sure what Sarah's trying to get at here. Is she worried about them looking up her skirt or something while she's walking ahead of them? I'm not really sure what she's worried about here. Which gets me, though, is that in the very next... that now she's ahead of me. So, whatever. I guess it didn't really matter much about propriety there. She just dashed all along ahead of me. Yeah, this is way too many landings. This should have ended about 2 screens ago, honestly. After I got that elixir, it should have ended. So he's gonna pass out and die from all these stairs, is pretty much what he's saying. And Sarah pretty much slaps him across the proverbial head there. Now here's what I don't get. is how the heck do they get in front of you every single time, even though you beat them to landing to landing? Okay, now I know I'm getting near the top, because I believe it's either this one or the last one where there isn't any dialogue. And that's what, yep, that's when you know you're getting to the top. There's no dialogue. Their legs must be burning right about now. I've done a staircase workout for like about an hour. That really tears up your legs and your inner thigh area. It just ruins you for at least several days. If you're not prepared for it, at least, and you haven't practiced. So then we got these heavy-duty soldiers and everything. We're going to make great use of our red mage here. Kind of as a reminder more to myself than to the viewers who are probably watching this in consecutive order. Per the Materia challenge, there's only one person able to use magic right now, and that's of course Sarah. The only thing Matthew and Barney can do besides limit breaks is just attack. And even then, the only person who can use items is Barney. No one else can use items at this point, at least nobody in this particular party. Ooh, yes, big shot. In terms of limit breaks, I'm only going up to level 2 as part of the challenge. Limit break 3 and 4 I'm not going to even attempt. I think they're just too game breaking, so I'm going to limit myself to the first 2 tiers of limit breaks for each character. Kate Sith is kind of an interesting case. Okay, are there actually humans in those particular suits? Or are these robots? I'm not entirely sure, because you know, right before the battle, it looked like there were red human guards there, but then they looked kind of something altogether different in the battle. Just don't know. Yay! We can finally go up to floor 60 and higher. This is a very, very tall building. I remember playing this game for the first time back in the early 2000s. Yeah, it was a while after this game's release that I was able to play this game. It was when... what was it? Not Ubisoft. Well, the one that eventually converted to the PC, and everybody said it was a crappy port. That was the first time I played Final Fantasy VII. It was actually on the PC. When I played this, I remember spending a lot of time in the Shinra Tower, because there's just so many floors that you can explore between 59 and, what was it, 69 or something, 10 floors there. And it's just ridiculous how many things you can do in between each of the floors. So I remember spending hours in this tower, just hours. I even went back to the first floor at one point. Oh gosh, I hate these little rhythm timing games. Ha! We're doing great. We're doing great. First attempt, and I'm already getting into a battle. At least I don't have to spread around the magic from Sarah that much, so we'll do more damage. You know, I almost want to say these are like 2 separate enemies rolled into one, because even if I think you do enough damage to destroy them outright, they still will break off their armor, and then you still have to fight the inner part, the inner blue roller skater dude, even if you do enough damage to supposedly destroy them both. I think the game kind of restores the enemy's hit points a little bit just for the second part of the battle for each enemy. I could be wrong on that. Ooh! Fire does a lot more when they have their armor off. I did not know that. Yeah. There's only so many times I think you can screw up. I think if you screw up 5 times, we get into 5 battles, the game literally just hands you the section. They're like, alright, just move along. There's no reason for you to try this again if you fail 5 times. So in that sense, the game is actually pretty lenient. So the first 2 guards are slower. I mean, both sets of guards have a pattern, but it's just the first ones are more easier to manage. It's the second ones that you got to really hit the circle button, as they start to move. You have no room for error. If you think about it, the way they're patrolling this area is actually kind of silly and ridiculous. I mean, there's no reason for them to just go back and forth between one set of statues and then just keep looking down. I mean, if anything, they should have split up and take each of the 4 corners and just put, either patrol or just stand there and watch. I mean, if they put themselves at each corner of this whole central area with the statues and then looked around, it would cover all angles, and there'd be no way to get past them. The way they got it set up here, it just isn't realistic. But for the sake of gameplay, this is... you could almost call this a mini-game, kind of. Not really, but it breaks up the flow of the actual gameplay, which is nice, and I think is the point. Makes complete sense. So you actually want to talk to this guy, his business suit. You don't want to say where's Keiko. I don't know what's going to happen if you do. I usually just keep silent, but he then assumes, wrongly of course, that you're the repairman. You need to repair these doors, so he's like, hey, go to keycard 62 and get some items or whatever to go repair that door. Well, looks like they're not going to meet their rendezvous for their date. That sucks. I'm sorry, guy. There's going to be always someone over you that you're working for. Always. Be it your boss, be it your troop leader, be it the wife. I'm gonna get in trouble for that comment, but there's always someone you're working for. She heard that. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. So Mayor Domino is actually gonna give you a small little game of a sort. Now you can't really look this up in a guide or online or anything like that, because the passcode that he asks you to guess the first time changes every single game. So what you guessed the first time, like I think the first one I got was Mako, M-A-K-O, is not the password, the subsequent time. It's probably not the password this time. Now you can buy hints and tips from the guy outside his room, which cost quite a lot of money. But the clues are in these libraries. So what does it say? No. Okay, well, you kind of want to... Okay, illustrate to city planning. Okay, city planning. Urban planning. Reactor construction chart. Problems with plate construction Midgar. All these about buildings. Data on experimental animals living near Midgar. Oh! Okay, so this one is out of place. This is in the wrong area. So you see the number 6? You count 6 in. That's the letter N. Okay, so the number of the book is the number of letters from the start that you need to count in. So Mako Energy, Biologist, Mako Weaponry, Ancients and History, Mako. I want to say the Ancients and History. I'm getting an I as the letter from that one. 14 letters in from the left. So we got an I and we got an N. So keep those 2 letters in mind. Get in there. So we want to find the book that I think I've already found it, actually. Space program. Space mission. Oh, this is all about... Oh, wait. No, that actually might be the wrong thing. Space dev. Shinrock. Okay, this is a space area. Let's see this. Planet movements. Okay, so it's this one that's out of place. G. ING. Okay, cool. So we got 3 letters, ING. Let's look up this library. Space program. I think we've already found it, but let's just check the other ones to be sure. Materia production. Peacekeeping law. Breakdown of soldier militaries. Anti-Shinra activities. New land weapons. Okay, this is like a weapon research library. So, oh gosh. Okay. I'm not sure what I got out of that one, but ING should give us enough to work off of here. The only one that matches is King, so... Hey! We got it on the first try. We didn't even get all the letters properly, but, you know, if you get enough letters together that are correct, and you know that are correct based on the method I just showed you, then you can kind of just, through guesswork, guess what the actual password is. It's really not that hard. But you get a nice elemental Matiera, which is what someone will be using later. So that's nice. I'm running up on my time a little bit. So if I'm not mistaken, the next floor is the lounge and an exercise floor, so I'll probably have to stop there. There's a save point there. Nicely placed, too. It's like midway between the... Oh, gosh. No, I don't have time to do this. Not in this particular episode. So I'll come back to this at the beginning of the next episode. This part's a little interesting. I'll get to explaining that one in a bit. Yes. Here's the recreation floor. Are those beds? Oh, those are beds. They have a nap room that you can sleep there at the Shinra headquarters. As if they can't get away from work enough, they're actually going to live there. They live where they work. Work until they drop. That is the Shinra way. So we're going to do a quick save. And we're going to continue on and to the final part of the Shinra headquarters building. So see y'all later.